What if I told you that the government, big corporations, and even some doctors spent decades trying to convince your grandmother she was wrong? That the simple bottle she kept under her sink was somehow dangerous, irresponsible, even reckless? Well, science just caught up with Grandma, and the verdict is in. She was a genius. Today we are counting down 25 white vinegar hacks from the 1960s that were literally banned, dismissed, or laughed at by the establishment, and that researchers are now calling some of the most brilliant home remedies ever documented. Stay until the end, because number one is going to completely change how you think about that humble bottle of white vinegar forever. Before we dive in, let me paint you a picture. It is 1962. Your grandmother is in her kitchen, humming along to the radio, and she has got a bottle of plain white vinegar sitting right next to her baking soda and her cast iron skillet. She is using it for everything. Her neighbors think she is a little eccentric. Her doctor raises an eyebrow. And then, slowly but surely, household chemical companies and pharmaceutical brands start lobbying against these old-fashioned remedies because they cannot make money off a bottle that costs 20 cents. So they push the narrative that vinegar is too acidic, too unpredictable, and should be left to professionals. Sound familiar? Let us start the countdown. Number 25. Vinegar as a fabric softener substitute. In the early 1960s, the laundry industry was exploding with synthetic fabric softeners. Grandma poured half a cup of white vinegar into the rinse cycle instead, and clothing companies actually discouraged this practice because it cut into their product sales. Here is how it works. Add half a cup of distilled white vinegar to your washing machine during the final rinse cycle. The acetic acid in vinegar neutralizes alkaline soap residue that clings to fabric fibers, which is exactly what makes clothes feel stiff. Science confirms this completely. Your clothes come out naturally soft, static-free, and without any chemical fragrance buildup. Grandma was not just frugal. She was chemically correct. Number 24. Using vinegar to preserve cut flowers. Florists in the 1960s pushed proprietary flower packets containing sugar and bleach compounds, and they laughed at Grandma for adding a splash of vinegar to her vase water. But here is the truth. A mixture of 2 tablespoons of white vinegar and 1 teaspoon of sugar per quart of water lowers the water pH, inhibits bacterial growth, and slows stem decay. Modern botanists now confirm this combination extends cut flower life by several days. Grandma extended her bouquets longer than any florist packet could, and nobody gave her credit for it. Number 23. Vinegar rinse for dandruff. In the 1960s, medicated shampoos were aggressively marketed as the only solution for scalp issues. Grandma rinsed her hair with diluted white vinegar after shampooing and was told by magazines funded by cosmetic companies that she was damaging her hair. The reality is that vinegar restores the scalp's natural acidic pH, which sits between 4 and 5. Most shampoos are alkaline and disrupt this balance, feeding the fungal overgrowth that causes dandruff. Mix 1 part white vinegar with 2 parts water. Apply after shampooing. Leave for 5 minutes, then rinse. Dermatologists now recognize the antifungal and pH balancing properties of this exact method. Number 22. Treating minor ear discomfort with diluted vinegar. This one actually got Grandma some serious side-eye from the medical community in the 1960s. Eardrops were becoming a big business, and home remedies were being pushed out. But swimming instructors and military medics had long used diluted acetic acid solutions to prevent outer ear infections caused by trapped moisture. Mix 1 part white vinegar with 1 part rubbing alcohol. Apply just a few drops to the outer ear canal and let it drain. The vinegar restores acidic conditions that bacteria and fungi cannot survive in. Physicians in sports medicine now openly recommend this protocol. Number 21. Vinegar for whitening teeth. Grandma dabbed white vinegar on her teeth once a week and was called reckless by early dentistry ads pushing commercial whitening products. Use sparingly, meaning just once weekly and never in pure concentration. Vinegar dissolves surface stains caused by coffee, tea, and tobacco. The key instruction is to dilute it with equal parts water. Apply briefly with a cotton swab, then rinse thoroughly and wait 30 minutes before brushing. Overuse erodes enamel, which is why moderation is everything. Modern researchers confirm that controlled acetic acid application does remove extrinsic staining. Grandma just knew not to overdo it. Number 20. Killing weeds without chemicals. In the 1960s, chemical herbicide manufacturers were rapidly dominating the gardening market. Grandma poured undiluted white vinegar directly onto weeds growing through her driveway cracks, and chemical companies called it ineffective. The acetic acid disrupts cell membrane function in plant tissues, causing rapid dehydration and death. For best results, use on a sunny day when temperatures are above 70 degrees and apply undiluted vinegar directly to weed leaves. Researchers at agricultural universities have now validated this as an effective non-toxic weed elimination method for shallow-rooted plants. Grandma had an organic garden before organic was even a term. Number 19. Removing rust from tools and hardware. Industrial rust removers were heavily marketed in the 60s as the professional solution, while Grandma soaked her garden tools in white vinegar overnight. The acetic acid chemically reacts with iron oxide, breaking down rust through a process called chelation. Submerge rusted metal items in undiluted white vinegar for 8 to 12 hours, then scrub with steel wool or a brush. Rinse thoroughly and dry immediately to prevent new oxidation. Metallurgists confirm this method is effective for surface rust and does not damage the underlying metal. Hardware companies hated this hack because it meant no one needed to buy their products. Number 18. Vinegar as a natural deodorant for refrigerators. In the early 1960s, companies were selling baking soda specifically for refrigerator odor. But Grandma wiped her refrigerator interior with white vinegar and kept it odor-free year-round. Vinegar is a natural antibacterial agent. When you wipe surfaces with undiluted white vinegar, it eliminates the bacteria responsible for producing foul odors rather than just masking them. Spray directly onto shelves and interior walls. Let sit for 5 minutes, then wipe clean. Food safety researchers now recommend vinegar-based cleaning for food storage areas, because unlike synthetic cleaners, it leaves no toxic residue behind. Number 17. Clearing a clogged shower head. This was dismissed as folklore in the 1960s when plumbing companies pushed chemical descalers. Grandma filled a plastic bag with white vinegar, secured it around the shower head with a rubber band, and left it overnight. The acetic acid dissolves mineral deposits including calcium and limescale that block water flow. By morning, she removed the bag and ran hot water for 30 seconds. The shower head performed like new. Plumbers now universally recommend this exact method as a first-line approach before any chemical intervention. Zero cost, zero toxicity. And it actually works better than most commercial descalers. Number 16. Soothing sunburned skin. In the 60s, this one really raised eyebrows. Medical journals were dismissing home remedies broadly, and putting acid on a sunburn sounded counterintuitive to doctors pushing prescription creams. But diluting white vinegar with equal parts cool water and applying it gently with a soft cloth to sunburned skin relieves heat and discomfort rapidly. Vinegar's acidity helps restore the disrupted skin barrier and has mild anti-inflammatory properties. Modern dermatologists acknowledge this as a legitimate short-term cooling and soothing measure. Grandma was not being reckless. She was applying basic biochemistry without ever knowing the technical terminology. Number 15. Cleaning and deodorizing mattresses. This hack was considered deeply unorthodox in the 1960s when foam mattress manufacturers were aggressively promoting their own cleaning products. Grandma lightly sprayed white vinegar over the mattress surface, let it air dry completely, then applied baking soda for an additional hour before vacuuming. The vinegar kills bacteria, dust mites, and neutralizes the compounds responsible for that musty mattress smell. Sleep hygiene researchers have since confirmed that vinegar-based mattress cleaning reduces microbial counts significantly. It cost Grandma almost nothing and gave her family a genuinely cleaner sleeping surface than any branded spray on the market. Number 14. Treating nail fungus. Back in the 1960s, grandmothers across America were filling basins with warm water and a generous splash of white vinegar and soaking their feet in it for about 20 minutes every evening. Podiatrists at the time dismissed this practice entirely and told patients to buy expensive antifungal creams from the pharmacy. But here is what science now confirms. White vinegar contains acetic acid, which creates an acidic environment that disrupts the pH levels fungi need to survive. Dermatological researchers have found that acetic acid genuinely inhibits the growth of common nail fungi like Trichophyton rubrum. To do this yourself, mix 1 part white vinegar with 2 parts. Warm water in a basin, soak for 15 to 20 minutes daily, then dry your feet thoroughly. Consistency over several weeks is key, just like Grandma always insisted. Number 13. Repelling ants and household insects. Pest control companies in the 1960s pushed chemical sprays heavily, and Grandma wiping her countertops with white vinegar was considered quaint and ineffective. But acetic acid disrupts the pheromone trails ants use to navigate and communicate. When trails are eliminated, colonies lose their pathway into your home. Spray or wipe pure white vinegar along baseboards, windowsills, and entry points. Reapply after cleaning or rainfall. Entomologists now confirm that disrupting pheromone trails is among the most effective ant deterrence methods available. Grandma was doing behavioral pest control before anyone coined the term. Number 12. Preserving wooden cutting boards. Food safety regulations and commercial sanitizing products pushed Grandma's vinegar wipe down right out of fashion in the 60s. But rubbing white vinegar onto wooden cutting boards after each use kills surface bacteria, including Salmonella and E. coli, according to microbiology researchers at major universities. Apply undiluted vinegar, let sit for 5 minutes, then wipe clean and allow to air dry. Unlike bleach-based sanitizers, vinegar does not degrade wood fibers over time, meaning Grandma's cutting boards lasted decades, while yours probably lasted 2 years before cracking. Number 11. Neutralizing cooking odors from the air. Ventilation companies and air freshener brands thrived in the 60s by convincing homeowners that synthetic fragrances were the modern solution. Grandma simmered a small pot of water with a splash of white vinegar on the stove while cooking fish or frying foods, and the acetic acid vapor molecularly binds with odor compounds and neutralizes them rather than covering them up. Modern air quality researchers confirm this mechanism is chemically sound. It costs nothing and leaves no artificial residue in your home environment. Number 10. Cleaning eyeglasses. Optical shops in the 60s pushed proprietary lens cleaning solutions aggressively. Grandma used a drop of diluted white vinegar on a soft cloth to clean her glasses and got laughed at in those early consumer advice magazines. But diluted vinegar removes grease, fingerprints, and mineral deposits from glass lenses without scratching. Use 1 part vinegar to 3 parts distilled water on a microfiber cloth. Opticians now confirm this is safe and effective for glass lenses, though caution is advised with certain anti-reflective coatings on modern plastic lenses. Grandma was just working with what the science actually supported. Number 9. Brightening grout lines. Cleaning product companies in the 1960s sold specialized grout cleaners with aggressive chemical formulations, and Grandma applying straight white vinegar to grout with an old toothbrush was considered embarrassing. But acetic acid dissolves the mineral and soap deposits that discolor grout, restoring its original color without bleaching or corroding the surrounding tile. Apply undiluted scrub, let sit 10 minutes, then rinse. Tile restoration professionals now recommend vinegar as a first-line treatment before any commercial product. Grandma kept her bathroom looking pristine for decades for mere pennies. Number 8. Relieving jellyfish stings. This one caused real controversy. In the 1960s, folk medicine was being systematically discredited by mainstream medicine, and Grandma pouring vinegar on a jellyfish sting was called dangerous by some early medical literature. But here's the nuance that science eventually clarified. White vinegar inhibits the nematocyst discharge mechanism of certain jellyfish species, preventing additional venom release. Marine biologists and toxicologists now confirm this is valid for specific species and is taught in first aid protocols in coastal regions worldwide. Grandma was practicing species-specific toxicology in her kitchen. She just called it common sense. Number 7. Removing adhesive residue from surfaces. In the 60s, solvents like acetone and commercial adhesive removers were being pushed as the only professional solution. Grandma applied white vinegar to price tag residue and sticker gunk. Let it soak for several minutes, then rubbed it away cleanly. The acetic acid breaks down the polymer chains in most adhesive compounds, loosening their bond to surfaces without damaging paint, wood, or glass in most cases. Surface chemistry researchers confirm this mechanism thoroughly. No fumes, no toxicity, no damage. Number 6. Conditioning leather goods. Leather care companies aggressively marketed conditioning oils and sprays throughout the 60s, and Grandma diluting white vinegar with linseed oil to treat leather furniture and shoes was dismissed as damaging. But the vinegar component gently cleans embedded grime and lightly conditions the leather surface, while the oil restores suppleness. Mix 1 part white vinegar with 2 parts linseed oil, apply with a cloth, buff gently, and allow to absorb. Leather preservation experts now recognize acid-based cleaning as an effective preliminary step in leather maintenance. Grandma's handbags and shoes outlasted everything manufactured after 1975. Number 5. Unclogging drains naturally. Chemical drain companies made fortunes in the 60s selling highly toxic lye-based formulas. Grandma poured boiling water down the drain, followed by half a cup of baking soda, then a cup of white vinegar, then another pour of boiling water. The chemical reaction between the baking soda's base and vinegar's acid creates a vigorous effervescent action that physically dislodges buildup in pipes. Plumbers confirm this works remarkably well on soap scum and grease accumulation. It is also non-toxic and does not corrode pipe materials the way commercial drain cleaners notoriously do. Number 4. Treating athlete's foot. Pharmaceutical companies pushed antifungal creams at premium prices throughout the 60s, and Grandma soaking her feet in diluted white vinegar was openly criticized as an old wives' tale. But the same principle that works on nail fungus applies here. Soaking feet in a solution of 1 part white vinegar and 2 parts warm water for 20 minutes daily creates an environment where the fungi causing athlete's foot cannot reproduce. Podiatrists in clinical settings now acknowledge this as an effective complementary treatment. Grandma was beating pharmaceutical patents with a bottle from the grocery store. Number 3. Cleaning and disinfecting produce. Food safety authorities in the 1960s pushed commercial produce washes when they were first introduced, while Grandma rinsing her vegetables in a diluted vinegar solution was called unnecessary. Research from the Journal of Food Protection has since confirmed that rinsing produce in a solution of 3 parts water to 1 part white vinegar removes a significant percentage of surface bacteria and pesticide residue more effectively than water alone. Grandma was protecting her family from chemical agriculture consequences before the organic food movement existed. Number 2. Treating minor skin infections and cuts. This is where the medical establishment fought back hardest in the 1960s. Doctors were aggressively promoting antibiotic ointments and pushing the idea that anything else was a recipe for serious infection. Grandmothers who dabbed diluted white vinegar on minor cuts, scrapes, and skin infections were sometimes reported to health authorities as practicing dangerous folk medicine. But clinical research has since demonstrated that acetic acid has genuine antimicrobial properties against a broad spectrum of bacteria, including Pseudomonas aeruginosa, a notoriously antibiotic-resistant pathogen. The World Health Organization has even acknowledged acetic acid wound irrigation in low-resource healthcare settings. Dilute white vinegar to a 1:10 ratio with clean water. Apply gently to minor wounds with a clean cloth and let it dry. For anything deeper than a surface wound, seek medical attention. And now we have reached number 1, the hack that changed everything and the one that the establishment fought the hardest to suppress. The all-purpose household spray that replaced dozens of products. In the early 1960s, grandmothers kept a single spray bottle of diluted white vinegar on hand and used it for virtually everything we have discussed today and more. They did not need 15 different commercial products for 15 different tasks. One bottle-handled surface cleaning, glass and windows, hard water stains, laundry softening, produce washing, drain freshening, weed control, and food preservation. The chemical and cleaning industry in the post-war era built its entire market expansion strategy around convincing the American household that specialized products were necessary for every single task. Your grandmother's kitchen cabinet required 1-gallon jug. The industry needed you to buy dozens of brightly colored, specifically labeled, and significantly marked up products instead. That is not innovation. That is monopolization of common sense. Researchers and sustainability scientists today are going back to exactly what Grandma already knew. A single, inexpensive, biodegradable, non-toxic compound can handle an extraordinary range of household needs with science-backed effectiveness. So here's the thing. Grandma was not practicing folk medicine. She was practicing applied chemistry before most people even understood what applied chemistry meant. She knew that the acid in vinegar dissolved mineral buildup, cut through grease, and stopped bacteria in its tracks, then evaporated away, leaving nothing behind but a clean surface. She did not need a PhD to understand that. She needed observation, patience, and the willingness to trust what worked. The next time someone tells you that something simple and old-fashioned cannot possibly work because it does not come in a fancy package with a clinical-sounding name, remember this countdown. Remember the windows she left streak-free, the kettle she cleared of scale, the towels she softened without a single dryer sheet, and the produce she kept fresh longer than her neighbors. That gallon jug cost her almost nothing, and it turns out it was worth everything. If this video saved you money or changed how you think about what is already in your home, hit that like button right now, because this kind of content takes serious research, and every like tells the algorithm that real useful knowledge deserves to be seen. Subscribe if you want more forgotten wisdom that the modern world tried to bury, because we are just getting started. And drop in the comments below, which of Grandma's hacks are you trying first? I want to know. See you in the next one.